Well, yeah, I mean, the effect JT's had on my situation all year has been, I think, very impactful. But as has the guy to my left, there's just a number of guys on this team, I think, that have presented themselves in a way that anybody can kind of go to them and lean on them for any sort of wisdom. But I mean, I think just having JT around adds that much more experience that I feel like we need, and it's just really nice having that around.
Go to Megan in the front row.
This is your guys' fourth elimination game of this postseason alone. Dansby, obviously you have other postseason experience. Just, is the feeling right now the same before the other days? Just how do you look at what's ahead of you tonight?
I mean, it's kind of hard to really put into words. I mean, we've worked so much all year to obviously put ourselves in this position, and one of my favorite things about this group is just never taking a day for granted. It doesn't matter if it's nasty weather in Chicago in April and guys are excited to be there and go play, or if it's in a game 5 of a division series in the playoffs. The guys are excited to be here. Guys are ready to work, always looking for ways to get better, and just really enjoying the moment of being able to go compete your hardest. And I think that that's just an unbelievable trait for a team to have, and this team has embodied that all season long.
Let's go to Jordan in the second row.
Yeah, for either one of you guys, but you had so many, even early in the season, big comebacks. I think the D-backs one jumps out where they scored 8 runs in an inning late and you guys still came back and won. How much do moments early in a season that stack up like that kind of just help give you that mental blueprint for that resiliency you guys have shown all year?
I think, obviously, there's a lot of baseball moments and things throughout the year that you can point out, just adversity that we've had to overcome, whether it was comebacks, like you mentioned, the Diamondbacks comeback, whether it's that or, managing, our ace and Justin Steele going down, and then a guy like Shota missing significant time. And, just when things haven't gone our way, this team's always found a way to fight. And I think there's so much more than even just on the field, just like how this group gets along, the things that we enjoy doing together, the trust that we've created with one another, whether that's, on the plane, having conversations, or, playing video games together, board games, like you name it. Like, we're always doing stuff together and enjoying being with one another. And I think that it just builds a bond that is really, really tough to break. And, it definitely gets seen on the field with things, but, there's a lot of work done behind the scenes that we've done in order to create that.
Go to Jared in the second row on the left side.
We've seen throughout this series, these first 4 games, the way that, the crowd has been a factor in both cities. How do you guys, how do you handle maybe riding that energy, but also not letting it get to you, so to speak?
I mean, yeah, this is a really cool matchup, I think, for a playoff series, just given the division rivalry here. And I think coming in and expecting the crowd to be at full force, and taking that as something that's really exciting. Being able to use it to our advantage at home, I guess. But it's the same game, I mean, just a little bit louder of a venue maybe. So I think just being prepared to be in environments that are that can feel overwhelming at times, and just embracing the opportunity that we have playing in front of a really cool crowd. I think that I don't think there's any of us that run away from that kind of setting. I think that's where we all want to be.
Also, I'll add to that too. I think that there's a balance of, like, understanding it's the same game, right? Like 27 outs or maybe more. It's similar to last night's. But but it really is the same game, and the energy of the crowd, whether it's for you or against you, takes you to another place. And understanding that and kind of accepting that and going with it is a key thing. Like, it's not something to overthink. This place is obviously loud, and they're very, proud of the team that they've been supporting all year, which they should be. And so it creates a lot of fun. This is why you play.
Stay on the left side up to the fourth row, Jesse.
Pete, this is what, your eighth playoff game? They all run together. What have you, along those lines, what you just talked about, maybe, what have you learned, maybe, and is any of it like the bigger the game, maybe the less you have to do kind of thing when it comes to this, or how does that work?
Gosh, I mean, I've learned that you need everybody to find success in a little bit tighter of a time window, I guess. There's less room for error. I think the beautiful part about our game is, like, we play all year and have so much time to work on things, and that never really stops. But then I think Dan's he said it best during our San Diego series, where it doesn't really matter how you get it done. You saw the game last night. Getting the job done is the only thing that matters in the playoffs. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is when we can go out and rely on our starters to give us 4 innings, our bullpen to come in, clean stuff up. You rely on our defense to go kind of be offensive in a way if we're not hitting, and just being able to stay in the fight is probably the most eye-opening thing to me. Is like, down 2 games here, I don't think there was any sort of panic. I think the way that Counsell addressed us was perfect in the sense that he made our focus enjoying what could be our last game with this specific group. And really just diving into the relationships that we all have. So I don't know if that's really the best way to answer what I've learned, but I don't know if I am super aware of what I have learned just yet. I'm really just focused on Game 5 today and going and getting a W.
Go to Andy on the far right, second row.
It's for either of you guys, but what are some of the challenges going up in knowing that you guys are going to face plenty of arms, plenty of different looks today, but maybe some of the guys that you have seen multiple times?
I mean, yeah, I think that's why these moments are always so challenging, just because, they're smart too, right? Like, they know best matchups for certain parts of the lineup. Like, there's no real, tricking what is going to happen, right? Like, the best guys to face the best guys is what it's going to be. And I think in certain situations like this, you just always have to be at your highest compete level and composure level to go and execute, whether it's a game plan, to make plays, to prevent them from scoring runs. Like, you just got to be really good at baseball. And thankfully, we have a lot of really good baseball players and guys that can impact the game in so many different ways. So, it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. But this group is definitely built to be able to handle challenge as well.
Megan in the front.
For either of you, from a defensive perspective, just how would you describe what it's been like playing behind and watching this bullpen from the start of the season, and how the personnel, even roles, have changed to the group that you have now, especially those 5 guys that have really been used in the high leverage moments, and what they've meant to this group?
It's been such a pleasure being able to play behind them all year. Every dude has answered the call, I think our situation specifically is really cool to see what Palm's done, being able to come and do an incredible job. Brad Keller being able to throw in really any situation. And then to go off that, kind of any guy being able to throw in any situation. It's really cool, and I think so many times we've had our starters kind of set a really good tone for them, and just watching our staff just be together every day is has been really fun to watch for me. I think it's a really strong unit out there, for sure.
Bruce, front row on the right.
You guys, watching all year, seems you have 26 leaders in that clubhouse, each and every one of you. But how did Nico's getting the group together before Game 4 impact you guys about the crowd and just as a group? What did it do for you?
I think Nico, in so many ways, sets a tone for our group. Just the like unwavering confidence and compete factor that he brings every day. How hard he plays, how he hustles, doesn't take anything for granted, and he's not always someone that addresses a group or necessarily speaks his mind freely. And so when he obviously addresses a situation or a group when it matters, guys listen and respond to that. And I think that's a really great trait that he has, of somebody that can say what he means and say it in a very clear and straightforward way that gets everyone on the same page and brings confidence to other people. And I've said over and over again, I mean, he's an incredible baseball player and someone that couldn't be more thrilled to be able to play with. He's the man. Nico really is the man.
Yeah, I think the way that we all watch him, I think it's very easy to assume that he is a leader just by how he does all of these physical things, whether that's running in off the field or just the composure. I think you can clearly see. Being a softer spoken guy, Nico, not me, obviously.
Really?
Being a softer spoken guy, I think it just feels very profound when he decides to say something. And I think my experience with him is he just says things at the perfect time.
We'll take one more, finish up with Adam, second row in the middle.
I was wondering if either of you had a reaction to the Brewers rolling their all-star closer out to start the game, and what that says about this series, and if you've ever experienced a stretch of games where the first inning seemed to have such a profound effect on the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really seen anything like it in terms of just the first inning mayhem that has kind of headlined this entire series. I mean, like I kind of said earlier, they obviously have a great group over there and know what they're doing. And in a game like this, I mean, kind of all conventional thinking can go out the window. And he's obviously had a great year. And, they're trying to put themselves in the best position possible to be able to succeed. And, we're obviously doing the same thing. And it's just going to be a lot of fun tonight, just going out and competing and leaving it all out there and seeing what happens.
I've never seen it, obviously. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right, guys, appreciate
Thank you.
the time. Good luck tonight. Okay, we'll get started with Craig. First question. We'll start with Megan in the front.
Obviously, you mentioned yesterday that basically everyone but Boyd is available today. Ultimately, what made you guys opt for Pomeranz, and how much, obviously, did you weigh with Shota there?
We just pitched Drew. Essentially, he's throwing the ball really well. I think both sides are kind of acknowledging that the first inning has been a pretty big inning in this series. And we went with a guy that's throwing the ball really well.
We'll go up to the third row on the far right, John.
Craig, you have experience in these must-win elimination games as a player, and now as a manager. Do you take anything from those experiences as a player, as a manager? Do you remember what that was like? How different is it in your role now?
I'm at the point where my playing days are not a very great memory. Truthfully, they're faded. Look, 4 of our last 6 games have been this. So, we've done this now. We're, in terms of recent experience, we're pretty darn experienced, right? So it's no different. It really isn't. It's no different than the last three games that we've taken part in this. And it's, look, these are the games you try to get yourself into. You work so hard to get into. You dream of playing in the backyard. So, that's the best part of it. And when all the other stuff, that's there, the finality of it, the stress of it, that's all there. But I think if you flip it and to know that, man, this is what I work so hard for, that's when you get to a place that your best self comes out, and that's all you can ask. Your best self comes out, and we play the game, and let's go.
We'll stay in that same road, Jared.
After seeing the Brewers as much as you have this season, I'm wondering, how do you explain their uncanny ability to make their opponents play more sloppily than they typically do, especially when it comes to defensive errors, which they've had more errors committed against them than any team in baseball this year?
I would say that's kind of a result of some other things. I think they hit the ball on the ground a lot. I think that is going to lead to defensive errors. They make contact a lot. They hit the ball on the ground a lot. That's going to produce errors. Just that kind of baseball produces errors. So mostly it's a result of from that statistic. They have a better chance to do it because of what their offensive players are skilled at.
Maddie, fourth row in the middle.
Back on Pomerantz, what has made him so successful this postseason? And when you kind of look at his career trajectory and the comeback that he's had this year after so long out of the majors, have you seen that fuel him at all, or what does that say about him and the year he's had?
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew's best trait, he's got a really unique fastball. It doesn't light up the radar gun, but it's just, I mean, everybody can see it. I mean, it's a unique, he throws it so much, but hitters still don't, have a hard time squaring it up. And so it's unique. Hitters hate stuff they don't see a lot. And that's what Drew's fastball kind of is from the left side. I think, look, we did a nice job. Our front office did a really nice job in acquiring Drew. My history with him maybe helped just a little bit in terms of yes, let's go do this. And then Drew deserves so much credit for. Look, he's not a young man in terms of baseball world. He spent a long time in the minor leagues continuing to try to, as he says, just get one more chance, right? And it turns out that one more chance he's earned this, right? And earned a big role on this team. And that's just a credit to somebody he could have gone home and he would have had a great career. And nobody would have thought twice of it. Nobody thought he gave up. At all, right? But he kept doing it because he's doing what he loves to do. And we can all get on board with that. I mean, that's where we all want to put ourselves. But there was a lot of bad stuff, not bad stuff, but he's in AAA as a 34-year-old, multiple years, and that gets old. AAA gets old at that age. It just does. And he kept going, and he's have created some great memories for himself because of it.
Stay in the fourth row, left side, Jesse.
Craig, I'm curious, once you both named your starters, considering you've played 4 games, the familiarity with the teams, the managers, do you think you'll be surprised by anything they do pitching-wise, or could you map it out right now after McGill? And vice versa, I guess, with Murph.
Yeah, I mean, you can't map it out because you don't know how the innings are going to go in terms of I think at some point in the game, after a couple pitchers have pitched, it'll be pretty evident what's going to happen. But I think early in the game, it's really dependent on kind of maybe where some innings end and things like that. I mean, when everybody's available and I think you have some idea of the pecking order, but it's also it's 27 outs. I mean, we got to get a bunch of outs, and so I'm sure there'll be some they're not surprises, but you're going to have to count on a bunch of guys to get this done. I think both sides know that.
Come to Jared, second row.
Craig, it seems like right from the get-go, going back to spring training with Justin Turner, that his impact on the team was going to be evident. And now as we are here today at this point, how would you describe just maybe some of the behind-the-scenes things that you see from him and the way that he's helping some of the guys, even if he's not necessarily in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, for players like Justin, I think like you have to have an ego to get to this point. Like, you don't have the success he's had, and ego is not a bad word. It's just you have to have that to have the success that he's had. But then when the true teachers and the true like teammates, like they do that part without making themselves the center of attention. And I think it's hard to do that. And Justin has a really great way of doing that, where he's not only is he a player, but then he kind of separates and he's literally a teacher with this great experience and this great wisdom, and that comes across as so authentic to his teammates, and that's why it's so impactful.
Go to Bruce in the front row on the right.
Craig, and just jumping on what Jesse asked you, normally they say you don't manage against the other manager, but when these games change like they do now, is the tendencies of Murph or your tendencies toward him, is it more in your head to try to figure that out in these types of games rather than normal regular season games?
Look, I mean, there's Mizrowski's going to pitch, Uribe's going to pitch, Koenig's going to pitch, Mears is going to pitch. Like, so you know who's going to pitch, what order they pitch in. I'm not sure what order they're going to pitch in. But, you know that, right? So there's not too much to figure out on the other side. I mean, it doesn't do me any good to try to think about who's going to pitch next. It really doesn't. I mean, we got to have good at-bats. We got to win pitches. I think in bullpen games, blowing up the plan as much as you can and trying to introduce some chaos to that plan is offensively how you can derail it. But in the end, it's just win pitches, have great at-bats, put pressure on them. Whether it's a bullpen game or a starter from the other side, that's what you have to do offensively. So I know a lot's going to be made of who's pitching and whatever. We got to create disruption and on offense, and you do that by getting runners on base, making pressure innings, making them make lots of pitches with runners in scoring position, fouling off pitches, battling and getting long at bats. Those are the things that offensively, that's a big part of today. I think that's going to be made of the pitching plan, but I think offensively that's what needs to be done.
Up to the third row to Bob and then to Paul.
Hey, Craig, back to Pomerantz, just with the journey he's had. When you told him he was starting, was he emotional or tell you how much this meant to him?
No, he was like, I can't believe it took you this long. He was waiting for me to tell him. No, I mean, I think look, he's done this before for us also, and he's got this great sense of kind of knowing when it's going to happen as well. So. He was expecting it. He was expecting it. He said that you walked by me once, and I was like, I knew you were going to come get me with some pine. So he was expecting it.
Staying in that row, Paul.
In the same vein, did you talk to Shota about, other than just be ready, about not starting, or does he understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation with Shota is that, like, look, you're not starting. You got to be ready to pitch in the bullpen. I don't know when you're going to pitch. Let's make sure that we have, you have a routine that feels good for you to prepare to pitch. And he was very understanding of that and creating a routine for himself today that gets himself ready if his number is called.
Let's go fourth row in the middle, Elise.
Your bullpen, the way that you manage it, you've been always very vocal about 27 outs, don't care about roles, like we just need you guys to help each other. I'm curious the conversations you have throughout the season to instill that mindset and the way this bullpen has bought in, because I would imagine at times maybe guys want to know roles, but the way they have been executing, and it seems like you set them up almost for the postseason, the way that you manage throughout the year.
Look, I mean, I think this group has been, there's in the regular season, there's always going to be more roles just because of the nature of the schedule, and I think it makes there has to be because of the nature of the schedule. But yeah, once the playoffs come, I think you see it just around them when you watch games. I mean, guys want to do anything to help. That's the mindset everybody has, and so. I mean, what Daniel Palencia is doing essentially as like a fireman or as a closer in the middle of the game, it's the same thing. It's that in the playoffs, like getting out, whatever, he got out 15 the other night, like that was an enormous out. I think we can all agree that was a really, really big out, and may have been like the out of the game, right? So that moment in the playoffs can happen at any time. And that's what you're just trying to acknowledge, and I think the guys really buy into that.
Take two more on the left side, Russell, and then we'll finish up with Jesse.
Counsell, you've probably seen everything from your time in baseball, but when you watch a 15-inning elimination game the night before your elimination game, does that make you more or less anxious?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I saw it because it does make you think a little bit, but then your analytical head says, what are the odds of a 15-inning game? Right? And so, like, honestly, that's what it says. And so you got to keep guys available, but if, you got to get the out in front of you. And that's, you don't expect games to go that long. That was a crazy game. It was I can't imagine being part of that game. It was a great baseball game, just an incredible baseball game. The best baseball has to offer, man. Like hanging on that drama for even going to the seventh inning, hanging on that drama for essentially 8 innings of like one play is going to change the game. That's the best baseball has to offer, man. That was incredible.
Jesse.
Sort of playing off that a little bit, but going back to Pomerantz starting, it was the other side of that coin taking one of your basically two lefties, out of the mix for late in the game or extra innings against, Yelich or Turang. What was that part of it?
I mean, we gotta make a decision, and right, and it's just Drew's gonna get, his outs, and if Drew gets his outs, then it's when it happens in the game. Yeah, I mean, whether it happens in the first or the sixth, you got to get the outs, right? And that's kind of what you think. You're right. We got after Drew. Well, we still have two lefties left. We have Shota and Caleb. So it just changes that dynamic a little bit. But yeah, that's part of it.